Thank you very much, Mr. Mango. And a very happy Sabbath day to everyone in attendance here and watching on Zoom. Now, I don't know really about all of you, but for me, August was a totally crazy, busy month for me. I had so many things going on, and it seemed like everything was going on at one time. I had bought some furniture for my house from a shop down in Akron, and that one trip to pick it up had turned into stretching out to 2 trips, which meant getting the U-Haul for 2 occasions and returning the U-Haul for 2 occasions. I had bought a piece of machinery for my house and had to go and look at it up in Ashtabula, and then I paid for it there, and then I had to schedule a truck to get it and pick it up, and then I had to be at home when it was delivered to me and help them unload it. I took a few days off of work just so I can go through all of my stuff that I have at home and gather it up for a huge yard sale I was having. And I was having it with 2 of my neighbors. And if you've never had a yard sale, it's a lot of work. It's just a lot of work. So I had to fit also into my schedule 3 trips to the doctor's office. And well, I still worked my full-time job downtown Cleveland, and after my first job, I would go to my second job, closer to home. I'd do some real estate. So I had to go there and check up on things and make sure everything was going as the way it should be. I was, like probably everyone here, I was busy with life. And honestly, for the most part, that's the way life should be. You should be busy and doing things all the time. God gave us 6 days to get our work done. And on the 7th day, he gave us the day of rest. Now, for us, the Sabbath day is such a major blessing. Our eyes have been opened, and we know the benefits of the whole concept of the Sabbath and ceasing from work. But we also know that the Sabbath has a way of coming up to us without having a pause and getting ready for the Holy Sabbath. We are sometimes so busy that we don't prepare for the Holy Sabbath. And this really is a problem. So today, I would like to give you 3 points on what we should do to prepare for the Sabbath. The first point in preparing for the Sabbath, for me, is to finish the work and the chores and the errands of the past week. This includes making sure the grass is cut, making sure the house has been cleaned, making sure that the dishes are done and washed, and the food that I'm going to have for the Sabbath has been basically all prepared on Friday. This also involves the handling of money, which includes getting gas in my car on Friday, doing my grocery shopping on Friday, doing any banking, paying of bills, basically anything to do with the exchange of money. These are all items that will interfere with us having a deeply satisfying Sabbath day. If we go to the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, and starting in verse 16 through 21, we can just see an example of this in action. So, Nehemiah, chapter 13, and I'll start at 16. And men of Tyre dwelt therein, who brought fish and all kinds of goods and sold them on the Sabbath to the children of Judah and in Jerusalem. And I contended with the nobles of Judah and said to them, what evil thing is this that you do and defile the Sabbath day? Did not your fathers do this, and did not our God bring all this evil upon us and upon this city? Yet you bring more wrath upon Israel by defiling the Sabbath. And it came to pass, when the evening shadows fell on the gates of Jerusalem before the Sabbath, I commanded that the gates should be shut, and they should not be opened until after the Sabbath. And I set some of my servants at the gates, so that there should be no burden brought in on the Sabbath day. And the merchants and sellers of all kinds of good stayed the night outside Jerusalem once or twice. And I warned them and said to them, why do you stay around the wall? If you do so again, I will lay hands on you. From that time on, they did not come out anymore on the Sabbath. So that's the first point. Second point in preparing for the Sabbath for me is to prepare for my personal appearance. By this I mean that I make sure that my clothes are cleaned, that they're washed, cleaned, pressed, and I also try to make sure that my shoes are cleaned and even polished. Now, it's just my church shoes that I polish, so now I may not have designer suits or a $2,000 pair of shoes, but I do wear the best that I have. After all, I am coming before God to worship him, and I want to look my best physically and outwardly for him. The third point in preparing for the Sabbath for me is to prepare mentally and spiritually for the Sabbath. This point is actually the most important point. You see, if you prepare ahead for the Sabbath with the first 2 points, you will see you then have the time to spend at the start of the Sabbath, Friday evening, and all through the whole Sabbath day to spend the time in personal Bible study, quality of family time, and you will be able to have the prayer time that is so crucial in our lives. We can also actually get the rest we need because we know this day is a day of rest and ceasing from doing our weekly work. Again, this point, this is the point that really matters most. We all go through our lives. We all see all of the distractions that take us away from getting closer to God. The Sabbath day is our time to draw near to the Creator God. God knew how our lives would be filled with our daily routines and distractions and things that would take our minds and thoughts away from him. So he put in place the Sabbath day, a day to draw near to him and be refreshed again. By taking the time to stop our daily lives and prepare for the Holy Sabbath. And I know I've said Holy Sabbath many times in the sermonette, and I have said it that to stress the point that the Sabbath is holy time. Now, I have in the past gotten to a point a few times where I became lax in my thoughts about the Sabbath, and I viewed it as, it's just a day that I don't have to go to work. Maybe I stayed off my phone more than I normally do, or just a time not to think about the upcoming work week. But God made the Sabbath holy. It's a sign between God and his people, and we need to prepare for the Holy Sabbath just as we need to prepare for the upcoming fall holy days. The Feast of Trumpets is coming up fast upon us, actually September 26th, and that's going to go fast. And we need to prepare for the holy days, and most of all, we should see how preparing for the Sabbath gets us into the routine of eventually preparing for the ultimate, God's kingdom. So, Why should we prepare? We should prepare because we lead busy lives and our focus is not always on God's way. The Sabbath is one way God brings us back to Him, but we need to stop our lives, clear our heads, and be in the right frame of mind to see and observe all of the power and majesty of our great God. So, point 1 was finish work, chores, errands that would occupy your thoughts during the Sabbath day. Point 2, prepare yourself in your personal appearance. And point 3, prepare for your mental and spiritual state of mind. As I said, preparing for the Sabbath helps us to learn how to prepare for the holy days that God has ordained, and then ultimately preparing for God's soon coming kingdom. Have a wonderful Sabbath.